got like 3 guys coming. Oh, killed me. I threw a nade and see if it gets him. Nope. Covering on your left side.
Hey guys, what's up? My name is T-Space, and today I'm going to be talking about the new conference gameplay that was released a couple days ago. I think Monday, June 10th, 2003. And basically, I'm going to be talking about what I saw in that gameplay. Now, I'm not going to be giving you a breakdown video. I'm not going to be showcasing the gameplay in the background of my commentary. Most likely, it's just going to be a regular Battlefield 3 gameplay. But anyhow, I'm going to be talking about the things that popped out in my eyes. I'm not going to be, breaking it down like I said before. But anyhow, these are the things that, got my attention, and I'm going to talk about them. So the first thing that came to mind was, of course, suppression. How is it going to affect us in Battlefield 4? And I was actually pleasantly surprised to see that it wasn't really there. As you can see, one of the examples was when they jumped off of the chopper and they walked down the steps and they were into the metro or into the subway. And when they were in there, it didn't really seem like they were under heavy suppression, even though you could see bullets whizzing past their faces and whatnot. They weren't really that affected, which was pretty cool. I enjoyed this aspect of Battlefield 4. I mean, I was glad to see that suppression wasn't, the game like it is in Battlefield 3. Like, I mean, in Battlefield 3, I know most of you guys have gotten into those situations where if you're fighting someone and he just instantly starts spraying, that game of skill quickly turns into a game of luck, where whoever luckily lands those hits will get the kill and, of course, come out as the victor. But in Battlefield 4, sorry, this is going to be really hard for me to say 3 and 4 anyhow, but in Battlefield 4, that doesn't seem like it's the case. Now, this is both a good thing in my eyes and, of course, a bad thing in my eyes. Now, given that we haven't actually played the game yet, we don't really know exactly the extent of suppression, and given that this is probably going to be an early alpha of the game, we're not too sure if they're going to tweak it or not before the actual release of the game. So my concerns are whether or not it actually affects sniper rifles. Given that we didn't really see any sniper rifles in this gameplay, we only saw automatic guns. I think he was using a support gun or an LMG, so I'm just going to categorize all automatic weapons and all semi to bolt action weapons as 2 separate groups. So my I guess theory is that maybe suppression doesn't affect the automatic guns as much as it does the semi or bolt action guns, which, if that's the case, that kind of sucks, because most of these semi or bolt action guns heavily rely on accuracy. I mean, that's their strong point, or one of their strong points, I say, other than, the massive damage that they can output. But mainly, accuracy is one of the top priorities for all these guns that are semi or bolt action. I mean, assault rifles, LMGs, SMGs are more consistent in, of course, medium to close range, and overall, it doesn't really, they don't really need to be completely accurate in order to, be successful. So hopefully that's not the case. I hope that suppression is, equal all the way around with every single gun, and it doesn't affect guns more than others. So hopefully that's the case. I don't really, want to put a damper on your guys' parade, even though you might feel happy. This could technically be an outcome when Battlefield 4 comes out. Hopefully not, but we'll have to see. Another thing that I did like was when the tank shot actually hit them in the metro. When they were about to exit the metro or subway, a tank just laid fire on them and pretty much destroyed the entrance to the subway, and that caused suppression, which I understand, and I thought that was pretty good. But what I saw after that was that suppression pretty much dissipated within a couple of seconds. I wouldn't even say a couple, it was like instantaneously on the fact that it actually dissipated, and it was pretty nice to see that suppression not lingering around as long as it does in Battlefield 3. I don't know how long it actually lingers around in Battlefield 3, given that I never really cared to count, but if I had to guess, it seems like it lasts for maybe 3 to 5 seconds, which in my opinion, that's pretty long. Of course, that isn't exactly accurate, I'm pretty sure there's a number out there where you guys can wiki it, and I know you guys are smart enough to do that by yourself, so I don't have to tell you. But yeah, that's pretty much it for suppression, given that I couldn't really see anything else. I mean, it was kind of straightforward. The stuff that happened in the very first few minutes of the gameplay pretty much repeated itself throughout the entire gameplay. So given that I haven't played the game yet, that's all I can say about suppression as of now. The next thing I want to talk about is the destruction. The destruction really caught my eye. Of course, everyone saw it, but there are things that I want to ask to see if, destruction is in our hands. So the first thing that you saw of the Frostbite 2 or the Frostbite 3 destruction or whatever was, of course, in the subway. After the tank shot hit them and they were suppressed, they ran back down into the subway, and the guy shot a pillar with a noob tube. And what that did was it collapsed the road above the subway and basically made the tank fall down into the subway. At that point, of course, the support, or I think it's the recon class or whatever class has C4 now, placed C4 in the tank and blew it up. Now this is an awesome idea. It's just the only thing that I want it or what I want Battlefield 4 to have is multiple areas of this. If they only have one specific spot that is capable of doing this action, then after about a week, all the players will know never to go over there, and therefore that specific action will never get used. Because all the players have adapted and learned that, okay, well, I can't go there because I have or there's a risk of me falling into the subway and insta dying because there's no way of me getting out. So hopefully there are multiple places that this could happen, and of course on different maps it would affect vehicles or infantry a little differently. Like, it might not just be a subway collapsing, it could be a huge tree falling down or something. I don't know, something awesome. But I just want them to have multiple ones, not just one single point on the map that happens or does this, because that's kind of boring. Moving on to the skyscraper destruction. Now, I don't want the skyscraper to be a timed event, or like in Caspian Border, when a side gets the 25 tickets, the radio tower just randomly falls down. There's no explanation on how it falls down. No one shoots it. No one breaks the cables. The cables kind of just combust and explode on their own, and then the radio tower just falls down, and that's it. I hope that's not the case in Battlefield 4, because I want to have the feeling, I want to have the ability to say that, damn, I took out that skyscraper. Of course, you didn't do it by yourself, but I mean, you could theoretically say that. The reason why I want this to happen is because it puts more power to the players. Like, the players can now actually, change the environment when they want to, however they want to, whether that be shooting it down with a tank or placing C4, like a huge abundance of C4 all around the building and then blowing up in one go. I hope that's the case, because that would be pretty sick. Like I said, who doesn't want to say to themselves that they blew up that skyscraper? I mean, maybe you don't, but I don't know. I'm pretty sure you do. Actually, staying on top of the skyscraper topic, I want to talk about the elevators. So the elevator in the skyscraper was a pretty neat addition. Overall, in my opinion, I think it's kind of flashy. It's cool, don't get me wrong. I enjoy the idea of having an elevator that's actually used in this game. But overall, it's going to be a death trap. A lot of trolls, or whatever you want to call them, are going to be using this as a haven of awesomeness, and they're going to post up videos just showing how stupid people are getting into the elevator. Whether they put the C4 in the elevator or they wait for you to walk out of it, you have a high chance of dying. Now, the only way that I can think of to balance this is to basically make multiple elevators that can consist within the map. So if there are multiple elevators, then it makes it a lot harder for these trolls or whatever to actually camp these specific areas and predict where you're gonna end up. Other than that, I don't know. It seems like a good idea, but there needs to be multiple ones. Given that in the demo we only saw one, I'm pretty sure there's only going to be one elevator. Hopefully I'm wrong, because the elevator idea sounds pretty interesting, and overall hopefully it works. So after that, I'm going to move on to ammo. So ammo was something that wasn't really discussed, or wasn't really looked at too much, I say, in my opinion, compared to the other things that I want to talk about. But now in the trailers, at least, or in the gameplay, vehicles have limited ammo, which is awesome. I have to say that this pretty much insta-balances vehicles in my eyes. Vehicles cannot just spam rockets as they're circle strafing in the sky with a chopper, or just infinitely doing run-bys with jets, or just sitting in their base with extreme tough armor like a tank. It makes it more more skilled and has more incentive on the player not to, you know, instantly just start shooting anything that moves. They have to make sure that what they shoot is, you know, beneficial to them and of course their team. So that's good. Less spam, or less ammo, which is good. Now, guns have limited ammo as well. I don't know where Appletini got this quote, but given that he's my friend, I trust that his sources are good and, you know, reliable. But what he states on Twitter is that when you do reload your mag, if you have excess bullets within that mag when you do reload, all those bullets that you throw away will be gone forever. So in a way, you should only reload when you are low on ammo. Now, Appletini doesn't like this fact. He thinks it's a disappointment. He thinks that it's going to make it more difficult to get ammo. I mean, in Battlefield 3, it's already hard enough to get ammo without this new mechanic in the game. It's going to probably escalate this problem in Battlefield 4 like tenfold. Now, I don't disagree with him, but I do still think that this is an interesting idea. Like I said with the vehicles, there's going to be less spam with the guns, given that people have more incentive on making sure their bullets go down range and, you know, hit things more effectively. They're not going to be insta spamming in a hallway just expecting to, you know, get a kill because of quote unquote suppression. So in a way it's a good thing, but of course in a way it's a bad thing. I see both sides, and hopefully DICE knows what to do to actually balance this out. Maybe they'll take this out by the full release. I don't know. Me personally, I'm kind of one of those guys that likes to, you know, find out how many bullets is necessary in order to kill a guy. So like, let's say for an example in Battlefield 3, I think it takes a minimum of 6 bullets with an assault rifle at any distance to kill a target. So if that's the case, then I only use 6 bullets to kill my target. And after that, I stop shooting, and, you know, I make my clip more efficient because, you know, therefore I have more bullets to save for the next couple of guys that, you know, I happen to encounter. So that is pretty good. Hopefully, you know, they either keep it or they tweak it or something. I don't know. Whatever they choose to do, I'm pretty sure it'll be fine. Moving on to the Commander mode, I personally have not experienced Commander mode myself, given that I haven't played Battlefield 2 at all, but hopefully Commander is a good thing. Now, the only concern that I have is that Commander mode should not be a swing vote. Now, what I mean by that is, if you have an awesome commander, then that means you insta-win the game. Or of course vice versa, if you have a bad commander, then that means you insta-lose the game. I really do hope that's not the case. I don't want the commander to be such a powerful role that if not played correctly, then your team suffers significantly. Like, say for an example, in Battlefield 3, the rush maps that have jets, if you have a bad jet pilot and the other team has an amazing jet pilot, you are pretty much going to lose. There's a high chance that you're going to lose that game, and overall, you know, there's really nothing you can do about it. I mean, some people might not care whether or not they win or lose, but I'm pretty sure there are people out there that do care whether they win or lose. I myself, I care less if I lose or whatever. I mean, if I have fun, then that's, you know, all that matters to me. But there are people out there that like to win. That's how they have fun. So if this is the case and the commander is, you know, super, I guess, relied upon, then that kind of sucks. On top of that, I hope that there is a voting system, you know, to kick out your commander if he's not doing a good job, just so that if this is the case where the commander is a swing vote and it's very important to have a good commander, then, you know, the players can, you know, vote out the commander and vote someone back in. But I don't know how that's going to work. We'll have to see when the game actually comes out. So hopefully everything will work out for the best. Moving on to the last thing that I wanted to talk about, and that is the counter knife. Now, the counter knife is a pretty big topic in my opinion. There's a lot of things that I want to talk about, but I'm going to keep it concise. Another quote, well, I wouldn't say a quote, another tweet from Appletini, and what he states is that he hopes the counter knife only happens when, or he hopes the counter knife does not happen when you do a backstab animation. Now, this is kind of concerning, but I see what he wants to do. He furthermore explains himself, saying that if you have the ability to flank your targets, then you should be rewarded by humiliating him with this animation. And I do agree with that. Like, if you have the ability to sneak around the entire team and you don't want to knife them, then you should have the ability to knife them without any faults. But the only reason that I have is what considers itself as a backstab. I mean, in Battlefield 3 there are side stabs, right? Which technically isn't your back, but, you know, you're attacking them from the side. Does that still count as, you know, a backstab, or does that not count as a backstab? If that is the case, then, you know, you have to position yourself perfectly in order to be considered a backstab, and therefore they can't counter it. Because if not, then you might be considered doing a side stab, and they will be prompted the idea of a counter knife. Now, of course, maybe what he's saying is it basically covers all animations. So if you attack him from the side or the back, there is no prompt for a counter knife. Now, I don't know, because we haven't seen this that much. We only saw like a pretty small bit of it. But anyhow, if that's the case where the counter knife only happens when an animation is present, then that means the only time you're going to be able to counter knife is when someone's just swinging randomly in front of your face. Now, I guess this will prevent people from randomly panic knifing to kill someone, but overall that really isn't a problem in Battlefield. I mean, in Battlefield 3, you knife once and that's pretty much it. You have like I'd say like a 1.5 cooldown, and then you can knife again, or maybe it's shorter. I don't know, but by that time you're probably going to die, given that your teammate or that your enemy is probably going to be reloading his gun, and you're just going to get riddled with bullets. Another thing that I feel would be a problem if this is the case is that maybe you accidentally fat fingered your knife key. Now, if you don't know what fat fingering is, it's basically clicking multiple keys at the same time. So basically, let's say you wanted to click, I don't know, reload, and your knife key is F. Maybe you accidentally fat fingered the F key and accidentally hit F instead of R. So therefore, you randomly knifed. And if you randomly knifed in a proximity of your target, then he might be prompted with the counter knife. So for that minor mistake, you can technically die for that, which would kind of suck. Now, I know you might be saying, well, you could just bind your knife key to something else, so basically you won't fat finger at T-Space. Well, I know us PC users can do that, but I'm pretty sure the console players will have a huge a huge difficulty doing this. I mean, the only thing I can think of is that they literally pry the buttons off of their controllers and then place them somewhere else. Of course, that's not going to work. I'm just, hypothetically saying that's something funny. Anyhow, yeah, but like for console players, I'm pretty sure that's not going to be the case. I don't know if they can actually map every single button on their controller. Maybe there's a controller out there that allows them to do that, but from what I know, I'm pretty sure they cannot. So that kind of sucks for them. Hopefully that's not the case. Hopefully, the combat or the counter knife is... I don't know, it works out. Hopefully it works out. In my eyes, I'm pretty sure the counter knife will only work when an animation is present, just given that I feel like that's probably the only time it would be present, but I don't know. So yeah, that pretty much wraps up today's, I guess, topics of the conference gameplay or the multiplayer gameplay that was revealed during the EA conference at E3. But if you have anything that I might have missed, or you think that is also equally important to the how many things I talked about, 6 things that I talked about, go ahead and leave them in the comment section below. I would like to create a discussion about it in the comment section below, and just keep it civil. You guys are smart enough to do that. So yeah, if you have creative differences, explain why you have creative differences. Okay, just don't call people gay and stupid and fags. All right, you guys are better than that. Anyhow, hopefully you enjoyed the gameplay. Hopefully you enjoyed my commentary. Like always, my name is T-Space, and I will catch you guys later.